This is the difference between XRP and Bitcoin, and just hear me out because the most important thing you can do as an investor is have an unbiased understanding of everything that's going on. And I'm going to explain the imminent risk that Bitcoin has, which will happen 100%. Save this video for when it happens. But the most important thing for every single currency, every asset, is trust. When an asset is trusted and people have confidence in that currency or asset, it has strength. Well, what are we seeing with the US dollar and many other currencies around the world right now? People are finally waking up to the fact that they can't trust it, it's corrupt, and that it's unsustainable. And this has been years in the making where people are losing confidence in these currencies. And people are waking up to this game that the Federal Reserve has been playing for decades, where they print all this money, then they can't pay back the debt, and they can't pay back the borrowed money from other countries either. It's this interconnected web of over-leveraged debt and lack of liquidity. We can see this in several different asset classes. One of the most notable is the 2008 housing crisis, where people were over-leveraged on their debt, and it just caused this chain reaction of foreclosures in the housing market. And we see the exact same thing happening with Bitcoin, Michael Saylor and MicroStrategy, and the miners. It's all built on this very fragile level of trust. And in this new world, we need a currency or a bridge currency that does not operate using this stuff. And the problem with Bitcoin is, again, we are trusting a currency that is backed by nothing. Yes, it has this protocol, but it also has liquidity risks tied to it. And in this new financial system, there will be something that ties everything together, which I think is XRP, and will not have any liquidity risks at all. In this new financial system, it's going to be a currency that people are not going to escape to because of liquidity risks. And we already see with Bitcoin, like if people lose trust and confidence in it, they're escaping to stable coins or other assets like the US dollar. And on top of that, you have the miners that have to remain at a certain level of profitability, which is directly linked to the Bitcoin price, or else they will capitulate. Not to mention the fact that it's not environmentally friendly to mine Bitcoin, and it's very expensive to mine Bitcoin, which is why they have to have the Bitcoin price at a certain level to remain profitable. This just creates a interconnected web of liquidity risk. And what this is doing is just basically recreating the situation we have with the Federal Reserve, where they have to print money to pay off their debt. It's just an interconnected web of liquidity that we don't need. Next, I want to talk about the huge liquidity risk that Michael Saylor has put on the Bitcoin network through his MicroStrategy holdings, where he initially took out a loan to buy Bitcoin, used Bitcoin as collateral for this loan, and as the price has gone up, he has taken more loans out to buy Bitcoin and has used previous Bitcoin from loans as collateral for these new loans. So it's this huge interconnected web of liquidity risk. And just as fast as Bitcoin has gone up, if Bitcoin starts to drop, he is going to be forced to have to liquidate his assets before he gets margin called, which will cause a huge cascading effect. And then the miners will have to start selling, which will cause this huge cascading effect, which I then go back to the whole trust and confidence in an asset. People like you and me are going to lose confidence and trust in Bitcoin, which is the whole thesis behind Bitcoin. But we don't need another currency that is all based on trust, which is where I get into XRP. All of the tokens for XRP are pre-mined. This is one thing. Next, XRP literally is the liquidity for the entire new financial system. And what liquidity is any asset. So I want to go back to Bitcoin. When people lose trust and confidence in Bitcoin, they flee to other assets like the US dollar, or they flee to a stable coin like USDC or currently Tether. That's not an issue with XRP, because XRP, everything is going to be connected to XRP. Real estate, the digital Chinese yuan, I think that's what it's called, the digital US dollar, bonds, the stock market, everything will use XRP as the token to transfer back and forth. So people aren't going to lose trust in XRP. They may lose trust in real estate and transfer it using XRP to the digital US dollar. This is what people don't understand about XRP. They think XRP will be a currency like the US dollar. No, it's going to be the infrastructure of the new financial system, which we will be able to trade like real estate into the dollar. So if you lose trust in one thing, if one asset class is not looking good or is going down, you can transfer it using XRP to another asset. And since every single asset will be tied to XRP or use XRP to transfer to another asset, even Bitcoin will be tied to XRP. This is why XRP's price will be more than $10,000, no doubt. And then just the obvious things. XRP will be the infrastructure for the whole financial system because it is liquid. And I want to go back to the 2008 housing crisis. Many people that were about to retire were freaking out because they could not sell their property fast enough. This is because real estate is not a liquid asset. XRP solves this because it will tokenize all of the real estate using XRP. You can send a transaction using XRP in 3 seconds. It's less than a cent to send a transaction, and you can do like 1,500 transactions per second. XRP is a very liquid asset and allows these other assets like real estate to become more liquid. And then also the fact that XRP has been pre-mined. There are no mining delays. There are no miners that could potentially capitulate and cause the price of XRP to drop. Everything's pointing for XRP to be the infrastructure of the new financial system. Bitcoin has way more risk, and Bitcoin is not suited to be the currency of the new financial system. And then lastly, I want to mention the fact that XRP is environmentally friendly, and we see where the world is moving with this whole environmentally friendly movement.